At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
All right. And of course, we're getting some laughs from the peanut gallery today on our opening for the change. You know, a lot of times people they watch that and they go, oh, really? It is funny. It's meant to be funny. It's not true. Our speaker today, our guest today, he helps business owners in the SaaS and Services community run their company more effectively, which results in sales that soar. In fact, he's been trusted by companies like you've heard of, like Google, Roche, Consilence Ventures, Amgen, AbbVie. I want to pronounce that one. He's created a company called Strategy Sprints, and it's a trademark thing that he actually doubles your revenue in 90 days by getting owners out of the weeds, which is especially important for our landscape clients. Just joking. He's a TEDx speaker, contributor to Forbes Entrepreneur Magazine, member of the SVBS Silicon Valley Blockchain Society. So I want to hear from our guest today, Simon Severino. Simon, how are you today?
Hey, Doc. Thank you for having me. Hey, everybody.
Hey, okay, great. So we've got about 20, 25 minutes to give people your best stuff. Why should they listen to us today?
So I want to know, why should I not fry bacon while I'm in the nude?
I can talk about that book. It's actually by a friend of ours, Gene Bicknell, who is the largest Pizza Hut franchise holder in the world, I think. 350 franchises he owned, sold it to a PE group, and they goofed it up and he got it back from them, sold it a second time. So he sold it twice. Wow. Yeah. His book, you know what? We've published a lot of books of people, and they all have great stories and great wisdom in it. But reading his from a billionaire, it's like, oh, I'm taking notes, right? Because it had more something behind it. So yeah, that's why you shouldn't fry bacon in the nude. He's a Southern guy, so it's a you know. Thanks for the intro. Now, how about you?
Look, I'm not a billionaire. I'm just a person who started 21 years ago. I did fall in love with the problem of go-to-market. Like, how do you enter a market? How do you crush it in the market? And how do you stay there? So that's my thing. And I've been doing just this for the last 21 years. And now we call it the 90 Days Strategy Sprints program, because it works all the time. How to enter a market, crush it in the market. And technology has changed, and the life of our clients has changed. So the way we do it has changed with it, has evolved a lot. Now it's totally digital. It's real time. It's 24/7. It's on your phone. This changed, but I have done only one thing, and this is helping people scale their business. And that's it. That's what I do day in and day out. And
that's
my
great.
team is Strategy Sprints, and it's in many time zones.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear about the 90-day sprint and doubling your business in 90 days. That's going to be very important for our viewers today. But before we do, I want to find out more about you. How did you get involved with this?
I did fall in love with the question, hey, Simon, how can we enter this market? There is this expiration. Our competitor will have this patent expiration on February 20. How can we enter the US market before them? I was like, I'm excited. Let's do this. Let's get into a room for 3 days, and we get out after we have the solution. And sometimes it took 4 days, sometimes it took 5 days. And they were like, oh, no problem. I said, yeah, we have to stay 2 days longer because we need to still solve that part of the equation. And they go, oh, no problem, Simon, no problem. 3 days more, no problem. My top 50 people from all over the place, no problem. And I was like, I love this. I love the intellectual stimulation of this question, but also the emotional involvement when you have the other side being so in it. We are really a full committed team until, we have a strategy and we have executed that strategy. And then I'm proud, I'm done, thanks, next. I love it.
Yeah. There's so many ways to grow and scale a business, right? From sales, operations, positioning, branding. Is there a particular mistake that you've seen people do over and over again that you can help us avoid?
Oh, how much time do I have?
15 minutes.
Mistake number one. So in the book, I have a little bit more time. So if you want to go deeper, Strategy Sprints, the book, you have more time. But in a nutshell, marketing mistakes that they spend too much time and money on marketing before they hit 35K per month. Now, why 35K per month?
Yeah.
It's a line in the sand, but in 21 years, I have found that this line works quite well if you want to demarcate when you are exploring and when you are onto something. So before 35K per month, you are finding out what the offer is. And after 35K per month, now you are onto something. You have found it. Now you have to switch gears. You have to get yourself out of the weed. You have to fire yourself from operations. So I fired myself 5 years ago from operations. I was the coach, and my wife goes, but if you don't coach, who does it? I mean, you are the coach. Like, you are the product. And I say, yeah, I guess not. I guess the process is what they are here for. They are not here for Simon. They trust Simon. That's why they enter. They like maybe this light energy instead of a heavy energy. Okay. But they're not here for Simon. They're here to solve their scaling problems.
Right.
And if I get this out of my head and I write it down and it's a process, then everybody can do it. I can teach people. I can create a certification. I can create a franchise. And I just jumped directly. I fired myself. And the next Monday, I had an entrepreneur say, all right, I want to double my revenue. I want to sprint. Cool. When do you want to start? Monday. Okay, here is your sprint coach. Cool. So go back to my wife and say, it's not a problem at all.
Yeah.
It's a process.
Right.
You have in your head, in your soul, in your heart, you have a process if you are an expert. And so you can write it down, you can hand it over, and you can let your IP work for you. So maybe what's the obstacle? Why is not everybody doing it? Because some people, and I was one of them, and many listening are one of them, they have this belief, I am here to serve the business. I have to work a lot. The business is not here to serve me. I do not deserve to be on my bike, to be swimming, to be running, to be golfing. And the business is creating value every hour. So I'm sleeping and the business is creating wealth. I don't deserve that.
Wow.
We have to break out of this because it's not true. It's not true.
Yeah, there's that whole mindset of grinding and working 80 hours. Like, that's not, I mean, better to go get a job and work 40 hours, work 80 hours as an entrepreneur, right? So in terms of the marketing mistakes you've seen, is there, other than hitting, not getting serious till you're at 35K, is there one big glaring mistake that you've seen people repeat over and over again when it comes to building their business?
Yes. So they mix up projects and process.
Wow.
You need actually just one process and you don't need many projects. Especially if you are below 50K per month, you just need one process. Don't go fancy. Please don't go fancy. You just need one process. It's made of 5 simple elements. How you create awareness, interest, engagement, how you close, how you deliver, how you retain. That's it. And you need in each element, you need one mechanism that works. One. And so if you are still in the business, you have something that works. The only problem is you are doing a ton of projects on top of it and you even forget what it is and you don't measure it this week.
Right.
That's why we have 3 habits: daily habit, weekly habit, monthly habit that we install with our clients. We help them stay on track. Daily habit: how did I allocate my time today? What will I delegate tomorrow or automate? To a software or to a person. The weekly habit: the one marketing, one sales number, one ops number of this week that tells me if you're moving in the right direction, the right pace. Monthly habit: strategy check. What else can our clients do on their own? They can hire Mike the intern to do it. They can do nothing and it's fine. They can hire a full-time person to do it. What else can they do if they work with our competitors? Who are our competitors? Do I need to worry or not? Do I need to do something or not? Sprint rebudgeting of the 10 features that we are offering.
Yeah.
What are the 2 where we are winning? What are the 2 where we are losing? We cut 20% in the next month's budget from the 2 where we are losing. We immediately reinvest them in the 2 where we are winning. Guess what?
Wow.
We are winning plus 20% attention and budget. We're crushing it. And it's harder for anybody to eat our lunch. And it's easier for us to eat their lunch. That's strategy.
Wow. So actually the bottom line is you just got to treat it like a real business. Not
Yes.
like a hobby, right?
Like a real business.
Like a real
But it's not
business.
doing more, because that would be, the wrong mindset. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to put in anything more.
Yeah.
No. I have 3 kids. I work out every day. I do yoga. I have a great life.
Yeah.
But my business runs in many time zones, and with franchisees and all of it, and seven different revenue streams stacked upon each other.
Wow.
It creates wealth. It creates freedom while I sleep,
Mm-hmm.
while I do yoga, while I play with my kids.
Yeah. Making money while you sleep is very attractive to a lot of people. And since it's my show, I can talk about me, because our company, we ghostwrite and publish books for people, but the monthly recurring thing is kind of a not all our clients want that. They just want to get it done. Do you always work
It's an
with them?
amazing vehicle for recurring revenues.
Yeah.
Like, for example, my book, Strategy Sprints, just came out. It's on Amazon right now. It's based on the only... So let's clean it up first. We said process. You need this one process, and you need to systemize so that it works even while you sleep. Independent of people, it works all the time. And then on top of that, if you really want, then you can now put projects, temporary, to solve one bottleneck. So one of these 5 pieces will be the weakest point. You can say, okay, for the next 3 weeks, my project is to improve the flow here. And then that's a dedicated project. But it's intentional, and you start the next project after you have completed this one. You see how much more calm, how much more focused everything is? And here's the good news: you will have more cash flow, because stuff gets better when you simplify it. Okay.
So shiny object syndrome, as we all know, is the bane of most entrepreneurs. We've got 100 ideas, great starters, horrible finishers.
Yeah.
So,
another book. Can a book be a vehicle for multiple revenue streams? Oh my God, yes. I have no idea of books. I just wrote one, but this one is creating so much cash flow and brand. It's amazing. So, and I can't even write. Look, I'm an Italian. I can't even barely speak English, so I cannot even write English. I had help. Okay. From a publisher, from an editor, from a graphic designer. We were a full team. But the knowledge comes from me in the trenches, decades, solving problems, and then, distilling what works on a general basis and sharing that. So the book, each chapter ends with a specific call to action, and people go and click it every day. Each beginning and end of the book, I use like a billboard. Hey, you've just learned so many skills here and so many ways of solving the go-to-market problem. Would you like to become a certified strategy sprints coach? So revenue stream 1, certification, coming from the book every week. People on my calendar, I just read the book, I want to be certified. 1 revenue stream. Second revenue stream, clients, I just read your book. This is exactly what I'm struggling with. And I have a sprint coach, second revenue stream. And you can stack those upon each other. Then the book royalties themselves, that will not make you rich, but it's something, right? You stack those upon each other. You can pick a chapter and make it a small online course if you have enough material in there.
Sure.
And that's just from a not professional book author, just the first time book author.
Yeah. So that's a great advice, my friend. That's very good. I'm our show tagline is you're going to want to take notes, and you had me at solving one problem at a time, because most entrepreneurs, we got like a dozen problems, and you can't fix a dozen problems, but I can get one done in 3 weeks, and then it's boom, put a fork in it, move on to the next one. That is great advice.
You need to identify the bottleneck. And so I literally created a video today on my YouTube show where I show what a bottleneck is and how to identify it. And on our website, there is an 8 minutes questionnaire where people can find their bottleneck right now. So it's about, you put 8 minutes into that. It's strategysprints.com. You put 8 minutes into that, and what's the one thing of all the 100 moving parts that you have, what's the one thing that you should fix now?
Wow. Go ahead, tell us the website. I mean, in the show notes below here, but tell us what it is so we can send them there.
strategysprints.com, and 8 minutes into finding your bottleneck.
All right, it's right below in the show notes here. Check it out, folks. So when you do this strategy with people, is there a common bottleneck that like 80% of people have the same bottleneck, or is it always different?
So the theory of constraints, TOC, is a serious, very well, I don't know if it's a science, but there is a scientific process behind it, and it's measured and it's very well done. They say if you pick your value chain with these 5 elements, there is always a bottleneck. There will never be a state of this system where there is not one weakest part. So every system has one part which is the weakest. What's the weakest? It's the one, if you 5x the throughput, this is the first part that has stop of the flow because it's too much. It's you cannot go through the bottleneck.
Right.
And so there are 3 types of flows, and there is always one bottleneck. And our tools address both of these things.
Wow.
For example, your bottleneck is, I can onboard 10 times more clients. Let's say sales, I can close 10 times more clients. But next week, I have a bottleneck because I cannot onboard all of them. I don't have enough people coaching them, for example. Then the coaches would be my bottleneck. So now I have to find a way to solve that bottleneck. That's how I came up with the certification, because you can quickly scale it up if you need it. So you can find creative ways. It's not just doing more. It's sometimes it's a business model innovation and innovating by doing what other industries do. For example, I took the model of McDonald's and brought it into my industry, which is consulting. So you can take inspiration. Other industries are solving probably the problems that you have since decades or since 100 years and have blueprints. So you can take inspiration from other industries, bring them around the corner to your area, and it might solve the bottleneck for you this week.
What's the most unusual type of business you've worked with?
We had a house builder from the US. And that's usual. It's not unusual to build homes, right?
Right.
They build homes, but the unusual thing is they came to double revenue. And I said, guys, it's easy to double revenue. We will do that. But how are you gonna build twice the house? How are you gonna deliver that, right? And I said, well, Simon, let's worry about that afterwards, right? Let's sell them first. I said, okay. And so now the unusual thing is, in 90 days, they quadrupled.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
That's not the unusual thing. It happens a lot. Triple to quadruple sales during the sprint, because we know the acupuncture points and we have 274 blueprints ready. The unusual thing is that they managed to deliver 4 times more homes. And our coach was like, oh my God, we have to standardize their production like BMW. And they didn't have even a normal project management, because in building, you have usually this tactical project management, but you don't have a project management like a management system. You just have a tactical level, but usually not a project level. They think house by house. And so we had to think in projects, which is very different, and in processes. And so we had double the challenge. That was unusual, but it was a nice challenge to have, because in the end they quadrupled and they became a great testimonial. But I was like, in the middle of this project, I was like, oh my God. And I don't know that you can have a quadrupling problem. But yes, we had.
So do you typically work on everything all at once, or do you do one thing at a time, like work on sales first and operations second, or how do you juggle all that?
Great question. So depends on where they are. If you are below 35K, first sales, then the rest.
Right.
If you're above 35K, first firing the founders, the owners from and getting them 2 levels above fulfillment, and then systemizing everything. So it depends on where they are in their journey. But yes, we pick one fight at a time. That's the sprint method. So we solve one problem, then we move to the next.
You know, I have a client who just sold his company for $120 million. And he had the same advice. He had one thing he had to learn. Hey, I got this new software I'm rolling out. I got to learn how to sell it. And he spent, strangely enough, 3 weeks figuring it out, doing himself, and then training the next person to do it. So sales, done. Software, done. He would just do one thing at a time, just like you were saying. So it's not rocket science.
This is how the excellent people operate.
Yeah.
This is how Elon Musk is operating right now. This is how Jeff Bezos has always been operating. This is how the great performers operate.
Right.
And and it's important. Yes, they immerse themselves fully in that, and then they solve it. But the next thing is they hand it over and they move on to the next bigger problem.
Yeah, that's a key differentiator for sure. What's in terms of the companies you've worked with, is there anybody that came to you that was harder to help them out than others?
Yes. So many. We've done 1,600 sprints. I could tell you stories. What's the hardest? The hardest, it's the easiest to double is a B2B high ticket 15 people company.
Yeah.
That, we can do in our sleep. It always works. There are 3 inflection points. You do it.
Right.
I can train an intern to do that. Meanwhile, the hardest is a low ticket. Every offer below 10K.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so much more work.
Yeah.
There is many moving parts. And again, something where Elon Musk is brilliant. He says the best parts are no parts. So the more parts you have in a system, the more parts will break, because 10% per year breaks in a system. So the more parts, the more breaks. If you have low ticket, you have low margins and many parts. More stuff will break, and every time you will be frustrated because you are solving something for $600. Come on, I don't even want to touch that.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so hard. If you have just 25K items, 50K items, 100K items, like our clients, it's so much easier. You just need 15 clients in a quarter, and you are doing very well. And you are happy when they call you. You go, "Hi, Bob. How can I help?" So it's so much easier, right?
It certainly is. Yeah, that's right. Amazing story. Okay. How can people get a hold of you?
We hang out at strategysprints.com. If you enter Strategy Sprints into Google, you will find us. We own it. If you enter Simon Severino into Google, same thing. Page 1, that's me. So you will find us everywhere. And I highly recommend going into the book, Strategy Sprints. You can grab it on Amazon. And the tools, daily habit, weekly habit, monthly habit, you can download them for free on strategysprints.com.
I love it. So is there any last words of wisdom how we can how somebody, besides hiring you and getting the book, is there any words of wisdom or takeaway you can leave the audience today?
Keep rolling. Don't quit. Don't quit. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Capitalism is not a game of maximizing returns. It's the game of staying in the game. Stay in the game. Stay longer.
That's a tweetable moment right there. I appreciate it, Simon. Thank you so much for having it on the show today. Get this gentleman's book. You won't be disappointed. And I just found out when we were researching that one of my good friends is his client, so I can tacitly endorse this as a great system because we both know Adam very much. I'll make sure he watches this too. This is up for you, Galad. How are you, buddy?
Okay. Adam, we love you.
Thanks so much, Simon. We'll appreciate your time.
Bye, Doug. It was fun.
You bet. And that concludes the show today. You're going to want to take notes. And if you didn't take notes, they're right below here in the show notes. So go ahead and download those, get those, and get Simon's book. It's going to be a winner. It already is, like he is. But there's some great strategies there. So if you want to double your business in 90 days, you can do it, but you probably can't do it alone. So check them out and have a great day. Thanks so much.